put them in the chat. We'll open a window of, let's say, 10 minutes towards the end in order to answer your questions at ease. So please don't be too restless about it while I am explaining things through this PPT. So what are we going to cover? First of all, in terms of format, everything is going to remain the same, but I'm still going to reiterate the rules from the ones that we shared in the training as well for different categories. I'm going to share the motion release schedule, which means that once we share this deck with you in the form of a PDF, I want you all to just know that it has the motion release schedule. Whenever your motions are going to get released, the dates and the time is specified on that slide. So please take a screenshot of that slide and keep it with you rather than asking on the group over and over again, right? Schedule for the final day, we'll be sharing tips and tricks for impromptu. I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks that we can share with you in order to get you to be comfortable with offline debating. And then there's going to be other like queries if you have any. Cool. So as far as the turncoat format is concerned, let's just cover that quickly. This is exactly the slide that you had for your trainings as well, which means that everything about turncoat remains exactly the same as it was in the qualifiers for you. So if in the junior category you were delivering a speech for 3 minutes, it's still going to be 3 minutes. If there was no interjection in the qualifiers round during for turncoat, it's still going to be the same for the semis and the finals. Nothing changes in terms of the format. The only thing that changes are your motions, right? Which we're going to, of course, give you, and we're going to tell you when we're going to release which. All right. Besides that, you're supposed to give same number of arguments on both for and against. That your 3 minutes are supposed to be divided into 30 seconds of introduction, 1 minute of for the motion, 1 minute of against the motion, and 30 seconds of conclusion. All of that remains the same. Even for the middle category and the senior category, first and last 30 seconds for introduction and conclusion respectively, and whatever time you have besides this 1 minute, divided into half the time give to for, half the time you're supposed to give to the side, like the opposition side, and that's how you go about your speech configuration, which is what was the case during the qualifiers as well. Nothing changes. Basically, that's the crux of this explanation.
I'm good.
Mute yourself, everybody. Mute yourself.
Camera
All
on.
right. Devika will be trying muting people. So format, just 1 second. So as far as WSDC is concerned, again, everything remains the same. Nothing changes, which means that there are not going to be any reply speeches still. We still end at opposition whip for every round. Secondly, there's not going to be any POIs for the junior category. Only the middle and the senior category will have POIs, just like the qualifiers. Thirdly, the time for which you can speak for speech is going to remain the same as it was in the qualifiers. So 3 minutes for the junior category, 4 for the middle, and 6 for the senior. Nothing changes, stays the same. So the slides are the same as the ones that you had in the deck from the training. All right, just breeze through this again when we send this deck PDF to you. Now, this is the important part, something new also. So motion release schedule, this is what you should probably take a screenshot of and keep with yourself. For the junior category, all the motions for TC and WSDC, semis and finals, all those motions we're going to release today. This means that we're releasing 4 motions for the junior category, 2 for semis, WSDC and turncoat, and 2 for finals, WSDC and finals turncoat, right? As far as the middle category is concerned, we will release your semi-finals motions for both turncoat and WSDC on 10th August, 11 a.m. Right? So wait for it to happen. Don't keep asking about it. And as far as your finals motions are concerned, they will be released 24 hours after semi-finals motions are released. So 11th August, 11 a.m. All right. Likewise, senior category will get their semi-finals motions on 11th, the day when the middle category is getting their finals motions. And your finals motions are going to come in just like 1 day before the tournament because you're the senior category, so the level of complexity has to change. It's going to come to you on 13th August as like the finals motions for both the formats. That's the motion release schedule. All right. Are there any questions which I should address before I go on to the other things about venue and tips and tricks.
Good question.
Okay, Trijal has their hand raised. What is your question, Trijal?
Yes, sir. I wanted to look the motion slides once again.
Okay. Veer,
Thank
what
you.
is your question? You're welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is there not going to be impromptu for the finals and as well as the semi-finals?
Sorry, no, there's nothing impromptu because you're getting the motion at least 24 hours before you come to the venue.
Yeah,
So
sure.
nothing is impromptu per se.
Yeah,
Cool.
okay.
Arya, you're welcome.
How many motions will be released? And do we have to prepare both prop and off?
Yes. Stance allocation will happen on the spot, that's for sure.
And two motions will be released?
Sorry, yeah, two motions for semis and finals. But your stance will happen to you for any.
How many rounds of debate will we have per opponent? Just one or multiple?
You just have semi-finals, and after that, if you win semi-finals, then you will get into the finals. So only two rounds, and you will go against. I mean, depends on whoever wins semi-finals. So two teams will win out of the four teams that have qualified, and those two teams will do finals then against each other. I hope I made myself clear. You can lower your hand, Arya. The question is answered, please. All right. Moving on. An important note here is that, first of all, a lot of people frequently ask, especially also if there are parents around in this call, that I mean, if you are a semi-finalist, if you did not get into the finals, then are you allowed to leave the venue? Are you allowed to leave the tournament midway? Well, as a matter of fact, you can if it is something that's extremely pressing, but you will be missing out on the closing ceremony because the closing ceremony happens once the entire tournament is concluded. We have all the winners, and then we want to give them the awards. Which means that if you miss the award ceremony, then the likelihood of, I mean, you will first of all not get your semi-finalist certificates and whatever prize we have for you being a semi-finalist. And secondly, there are individual prizes as well, which are based on your performance during the qualifiers. So you might be eligible for an individual prize as well. So it's better to wait for the closing ceremony. So book your day. I mean, plan your day accordingly and book your flight tickets or whatever you're coming with. However you're coming, just please manage that accordingly. Just try to be there on, like, anticipate having to be there at the venue till at least 7 p.m. Yes. So like you have enough of a window to accommodate closing ceremony and attend it. As far as the venue is concerned, it's Learning Path School in Mohali, and the debate will happen in the auditorium of the school and basement hall. So those are the things you should be looking out for in terms of venue and what it's going to look like. As far as some tips are concerned, because we understand there's a lot of people who are doing offline debates or any kind of debates for the first time ever. So just to make things easier for you, first of all, do not skip setting up the context, and this is relevant for both Turncoat and WSDC people. So try to set up a context. Why are we debating on this motion? What does this motion mean? So for example, if you're debating on Oppenheimer or like Barbie or whatever, you need to tell us like what is Barbie? Barbie is this movie which is like really doing well in terms of like how many people know about it, how many people were like excited about going to watch it, and how it was competing with another like high production movie which was Oppenheimer, and how they clashed. So this is like a background of sorts which helps people understand the debate better. So try to set up your debate and try to start with an introduction of sorts rather than just getting into the arguments first. That gives the judge a good impression of understanding what your context of the debate is. Secondly, don't forget to analyze arguments. So saying that, oh, I think Barbie is a better movie is not enough. If you are saying that Barbie is a better movie, and if it's an argument, I mean, of course, your arguments are more complicated than this, but I'm just giving you an example. Even if your argument is as simple as Barbie is a better movie, you should still try to analyze it and tell us the reasons why Barbie is a better movie. All right. So analysis means just explaining things in detail. Don't just leave them hanging. Thirdly, try to use examples. Examples are perceived well by the people who are judging you because they are able to understand the points that you're making better when you try to give them examples, right? At the same time, I don't mean to say that all of your speech should be about examples. Just 1, 2, 3 examples maximum should be fine. Okay, don't spend all of your time writing speeches independently. So if you're working in a team, WSDC people, please don't be like, okay, I am better, I am the better team member here. All my teammates don't know much. I am going to write speeches for everybody, or I will only write my speech and I don't care about what others are going to say. Eventually, it's teamwork. So coordinate with your team effectively when you're given the motion, right? Try to prepare together and try to check each other's speech, not to change it, but to understand what your first speaker will say, and so how you can add value to it as the second speaker or the third speaker. All right. So coordinate and share your ideas with your teammates, which is what the fifth point says. Now, the sixth point is really important, right? Although you are already given your motions beforehand and you don't have to prepare any as such during the day of the tournament, before the round starts, the government side is prepares outside of the room, like the final preparation that you do or the talking that you do before going into the round. You do it outside of the room, inside of the room, and opposition is outside. Okay, so at times when you're government, you will be inside the room during prep time, and op will be out. If you're off, you will be out and the gov will be inside. All right, time for more questions. Naira, what is it? Yes.
Ma'am, in the turncoat category, out of 6 children, ma'am, how many children will be selected for the finals?
Okay, so basically, if whatever number of people there are, we're going to shortlist 3 people, and then we're going to decide who the first, second, and third winner is, like person is, or position holder is, depending on the finals.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Asmi, is that how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, question.
Ma'am, I actually have a doubt. Like for the semifinals, and finals, we will have a speech debated like a day before, or we will debate, or we will prepare the debate. Like we will prepare the speech on the day of the tournament.
What category are you? Middle, right?
Yeah, I'm in
So
middle term.
I'm telling you, right, there is a motion release schedule, which means that your motion will be out by 10th for semis and 11th for finals. You will have time to prep. So there's no concept of an impromptu debate in here for any category.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Shakuntala, question? Okay, read question.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask on what criteria will be students picked for the TEDx?
I mean, depending on how well you do. So, like, you have to win finals, or like, yeah, basically, if you're into the finals, we're going to pick top 6 across categories. You'd be told. It's just you have to be top performer out of the lot.
So if I'm a semi-finalist and we reach to the final, is it confirmed that we'll get invited for the TEDx?
No, if you're from the WC, I mean, format, then it's going to be different metrics. I mean, probably best speaker from the finals or some such thing, because there's limited seats and like only 6 people will be accommodated.
Yeah.
So we'll update you on this on the final day as well before the round start.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool. Trijal?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask that do we have to remember the speech, or like we can remember this, but can we keep like a paper in front of the desk that if we forget anything, we can just take a little peep?
Yeah. We're coming to that. You can use some palm card or whatever paper you want for reference. You can't like get glued to it. You can't read your entire speech from it, but you can definitely refer to it. You can have pointers on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Samriddhi?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so a document was shared in the group earlier, and it said that we have to be accompanied by a guardian or a teacher. So is that for kids coming out of station schools, or for children coming out of schools in Mohali, Panchkula and Chandigarh too?
That's more for the junior students. If you're a senior category, you can come, but for the juniors, we definitely prefer that they come with their,
Okay, thank you.
All right. Prisha?
My first doubt was, what exactly, if we get, suppose, an invite to TEDx, so what exactly, like, do we have to speak there, or do we
invite to watch
Fantastic.
famous people. We have got to listen to them.
It's a listen and invitation. So whenever the TEDx happens in Chandigarh, we will inform you and invite you to be attend that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Vedant.
I would like to ask that in the middle category, do you have to bring a legal guardian or a parent with you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Vrinda.
Yeah, even if the guardian is with along with the team. So if you're in a WSDC category, one team could bring just one guardian. Even that's what.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, what's the dress code?
Formal, semi-formal. You can, yeah. I mean, just like whatever you're comfortable in, as long as it fits within the category of semi-formal and formal.
Nitisha, just sorry to interrupt right over here, but the dress code, we're trying to keep it in Independence Day colors. So we would be really appreciating if every one of you can dress either in formals or semi-formals, but let's just stick to Independence Day theme. And selection of the color could be according to that. This message will come out shortly on the groups also.
Okay, great. Who else? Guys, lower your hands if your questions are answered. That's how we identify the people who haven't been replied. Shakuntala, you didn't ask your question. Are you here now? Apparently not. Moving on. Okay, so tips and tricks for the, again, debate, and you can also co-opt it for the speech category. Do not gatekeep matter for yourself. Mostly for WSDC teams. So sometimes again, it's the same kind of problem, right? Team coordination suffers. Although this is not going to happen, I'm hoping for you all. But still, try to like be accommodative, help each other with the speeches, but also don't change each other's speeches. Have access to what your teammate is saying, etc. Because it's again team effort. You can't deliver a speech independent of what your first or the third speaker said. So try to coordinate. Deputy and whip speeches are supposed to carry forward the matter pushed by the first speaker. So this again is to just emphasize on this idea of how these are supposed to be interconnected speeches. It's better if you let it be that. I mean, if you prep for it like that, like have Google, I don't know, Gmeet or whatever, meet each other and try to come up with one cohesive case and then divide roles, perhaps, of saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You can do the rebuttals and somebody else can do the weighing of this point and so on and so forth. All right. Give fair amount of time in your speeches to rebuttals is again in the deputy speech. Don't just be preoccupied with your own case, just pushing whatever you think is right. Sometimes we tend to say, okay, this is what we're saying and this is why it's right. But you never engage with what the other side is saying or what their attack to your case is. So refrain from being so self-centered and try to think about engagement. Try to think about how rebuttals also are important if you need to win this particular debate, because eventually the judge is going to compare what you're saying to what the other team is saying. That's it. I think you can read these points when we share this deck with you. For turncoat people, again, time your speech carefully. This is crucial for you, although it's important for anybody. I mean, people from WSDC format as well. But for turncoat, like I said, there are a lot of parts into which your speech is imperatively divided. So like you have an introduction, then you're going for, then you're going against, and then you're doing the conclusion. If you miss out on any of these parts, if you speak less for any of the components, you're likely to be down marked for it. Which is why when you're prepping, guys, mute yourself. When you're prepping, make sure that you're also timing yourself. So if your introduction is supposed to be 30 seconds long, try to keep it perhaps for only 20 seconds and 25, so that you are not just rushing things. Even if there are small slippages during the actual speech delivery because of performance pressure. So give yourself some extra time. Don't just cram your speech with arguments. Try to have a variety of arguments so that you can dish the ones you used that the others have already used. Again, for turncoat, it's very relevant. See, everybody is going to be debating on the same motion in the semis and then in the finals, which means that the judges are going to get tired of listening to the same kind of points over and over again, because mostly people tend to come up with the same kinds of points on the motion that they're given. So in that case, try to have like an inventory of arguments, if you can, like a list of arguments that you can run. Think widely. You will have enough and more time. We are giving you the motions beforehand. So that even if you think that this argument has already been run so much, it's beaten now, you can just easily move to the next argument, use it as your primary argument, although that wasn't the initial plan. So that's just convenient and gives you better agency to win the round by just reading the room and what it's like. Another very just it's advisory. It's definitely not prescriptive. You can write your for, against, and conclusion, like the various components that you're supposed to accommodate. The matter for it can be written on 4 different pages. So like you could do the introduction on 1 page and give it a number like page 1 or something, and then move to proposition arguments on 1 page, opposition on the other page, and conclusion on the 4th page. So that just tells you that, okay, this is when you're switching. So the transition becomes easy rather than just putting all of your reference points in this 1 page and then looking for them while you're delivering your speech. I think that's just difficult to do. So if you don't want your points to be cluttered, probably try doing this, but definitely not prescriptive. Don't go around saying that, okay, you said this and it didn't work for us. So your discretion is still advised here. Again, use examples in your speech to explain the points because that's more convincing and judges are able to understand the points you're making better if you're actively using examples. So yeah. Now quickly go through these points, how to manage offline. They're very similar to what we did in the qualifiers because there's literally nothing that actually changes. So format remains the same, time limit remains the same, your teammates remain the same. But what is like slightly different is that probably like the judges will be sitting in front of you. So for some people that's intimidating. But as long as you're timing yourself well, as long as you're practicing your speeches and as long as you're coordinating with your teammates, that shouldn't be like an impediment. Besides that, again, you can carry page like your sheets, palm cards, whatever you want, but internet will not be allowed. So do not carry devices which have internet connection. If you do, that's grounds for disqualification because the use of internet is prohibited on the day of the tournament at the venue because the motion is being released before. Like it's not impromptu, so you have enough and more space to be prepared beforehand. As far as WSDC teams are concerned, so when a round is going on offline, maybe online in the qualifiers, you were coordinating with each other back and forth on WhatsApp groups that you had for yourself in between rounds. So offline, you can do that as well, as long as you keep it like mellowed and nobody, I mean, the person on the podium should not get disturbed if you're talking to your teammate in the room. So you can still discuss things. So if I've done my speech as the first speaker and I see that I need to tell my deputy speaker something so that they don't miss out on it, I can still whisper and let them in on it, or I can scribble it somewhere and show them that page, give them that page, but you shouldn't be too loud. And again, too preoccupied with yourself that you forget there's another speaker on the podium trying to get heard. So that's important. For POIs, so how POIs are done offline is that whenever this is easier than what you do online. So whenever you have a POI, you just raise your hand, you wait for the speaker to acknowledge you or decline your POI. If they decline, just don't nag them further. They'll ask for one if they want to. If they are telling you that, okay, they're fine with taking a POI, just like ask it then and there, right? But only when they acknowledge that they actually wanted to ask one. And also don't disturb them a lot with like frantic waves. Just raising your hand and not being too animated about it should be fine. The things you can carry in the debate room, I think I've already said this. So you can carry your devices to access your speech, but it should not have internet. We're not telling you to not get your tabs because we understand your speeches are typed and not all of you are getting printouts, etc. But just don't have any internet connection. There will be moderators. They'll be like monitoring what's happening in the room. So don't think that you'll get internet access and devices and nobody would like be able to cut through that. Yeah, everything else is clarified. Again, we'll be sharing this so you can go through it yourself also. Criteria for adjudication, exactly the same as it was during qualifiers, matter, manner, method, same metric that we had defined earlier. I don't think we need to go over this again because you attended training. So yes, again, something that you should go through by yourself as well when we give you this. For turncoat also, matter, manner, method, 10, 10, 10, you'll be marked out of 30. So try to do well on coming up with good content and presenting it in a way which is convincing, which is method, just structuring your speech and ensuring that there are enough examples that make sense and are relevant to what you're saying. And then manner, of course. in terms of just how persuasive you are through your body language, and if you're not reading off a page and things of that kind. Okay, before we move on, Yuvraj, is there a question?
Can junior ask questions to the opponent?
No, I didn't get that. Could you come again?
Sir, can junior ask questions to the opponent?
In which format?
Juniors.
No, WSDC or turn code?
WSDC.
Yeah, you can. Yes, that's what POI is, right? So you raise your hand, you wait for the person who's speaking to say, okay, I'm okay with your POI. I mean, I'll take your POI, and then you start asking. Don't
Even
just get up,
juniors?
ask a POI out of the blue.
Okay. Sir, and do we have to stand there or sit there?
You'll be told you're going to sit, but when you're delivering your speech, you just go to the podium and deliver, and then come back and sit again.
Okay. And sir, juniors can even do POI, right? Juniors.
Juniors don't have POIs, by the way. I mean, juniors, okay, junior category doesn't have POIs. In qualifiers, did you have POIs? No, right?
No.
So if everything, so just remember that everything is the same as it was in the qualifiers. Nothing is changing. So don't do anything that you did not do in the qualifiers. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Trijal?
Yes, ma'am. I had a few doubts. Like, ma'am, first, can you please show me the device carrying slide? I was not able to read it. And the second, can we just make the videos of our speeches by our own?
As in, get your parents to record it from somewhere in the room.
Yeah, like basically, they are sitting in the audience and they basically like take my phone and take a video of the speech.
That's allowed. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, and can you please show me the device slide once again for just a second?
Okay, we are going to share this deck on the WhatsApp group, so you will have time to go through this. But I'm just summarizing it. You can't carry devices within. Okay, listen, hear me out. You can't carry devices with internet connection, but you can carry devices to just look at your speech, which is already written and does not need internet for access. Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Just 1 second. Treasure, is that clear?
Yes.
All right. Please don't speak out of turn. I'm acknowledging people here. Arya, yes.
How many, like, according to you, what is the preferred amount of constructives the PM and deputy PM should have? Like 2 or 3
which category?
Middle.
So see, if you have 4 minutes, you can come up with 2-3 arguments. Anyway, the number of arguments you're pushing doesn't matter. What matters is the quality and the kind of impact it generates in the debate. So even if you have only 2 arguments, but strong ones, and if in deputy you're mostly rebutting their case and just bringing it down in its entirety, I think that can also give you stellar results. So the number of arguments really don't matter. Just try to make your arguments comprehensive. Even if it's just one argument, try to analyze it from every stakeholder's perspective and try to give it the kind of analysis that you would want to convince.
And during the debate, how much time will each speaker have in between the speeches?
In between speeches?
Yeah.
Not much. Like you could ask for 15-20 seconds max. But the presumption here is that you already have your speeches ready beforehand and you only need to gather your thoughts about what the other side said. So not more than 15-20 seconds. You'll have to have some ready wit in that sense. You can't be given more than that. 20 seconds in between speeches. All right.
Excuse me, ma'am, I have one more.
No. Not out of turn though. I'll come back to you. Who Deva? Is it Deva? Is that how you pronounce it? Question, please.
Yes, ma'am, it's Diva. So, ma'am, my question is that, like in turn court, overall, there'll be just like this one theme given to us, and we'll have to read about it and learn everything and then come, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Naisha.
Yes, good evening. Just one question. During the prep time, are guardians allowed to be there with us?
During prep,
Yes.
preferably not, you'd be with your team. So they can spectate. But during prep, why should they be around? I mean, not needed, right?
All right.
Cool. Ask me, yes.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm in turncoat middle category, so I'm not understanding the prep time. Like over there, we will write our speech.
No. Technically, you don't have enough of a prep time. See, prep time is just the kind of coordination you do just before the round. So you are not going to get enough time to write your speeches there. And why would you want to do it anyway, right? If you have the motions beforehand, just be prepared. Don't leave it to the last day.
And ma'am, I wanted to ask that can we have small flashcards in which we just have the small pointers, not the entire speech?
I told you at length that yes, that's a possibility. You are allowed to do that. Okay. Lower your hands if your questions are answered. I'm confused about.
Ma'am, I have one more question.
Okay, go.
So, ma'am, you said that the motions will be given beforehand before the actual offline debate, like the speech. So, is it like the theme or the motion will be given?
No, the theme is already out. Remains the same, pop culture.
Okay.
I thought when you said theme, you meant motions and it was a slippage. So motions, yes, everything will be out before the final date. So there's nothing that's left to like chance or guess. Everything you will have, you can just prepare and come.
All right. And there'll be 2 rounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Saina?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, the topics will be same, like arts for art's sake and the cinema.
No. We're sharing the topics with you right now. Just give me time to answer these questions. Yeah.
Ma'am, can we bring our whole speech or we just have to bring the pointers?
Depends. If pointers are enough for you to deliver a speech, then you don't have to write it. But if you think you want a speech, if you want to write down an entire speech, then you can, because you're junior category, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you can write your speech if you want.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Palak Noor?
Ma'am, my question to you is that other than our speech paper, can we bring some research paper? Of course, it wouldn't be a book or encyclopedia, just a written, prepared rebuttal, something like that. Can we bring it to the semifinals?
You're middle category, right? I think that's slightly dubious. So try not doing it. Why do you? I mean, again, how will that research paper help you? Whatever you want in the speech from that, just use it beforehand. And this only applies to turncoat, because WSDC you're not allowed to research anyway.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Lower your hands if your questions are answered, everyone. Saina, is there another question?
No, ma'am.
Lower your hand. Okay, Shakuntala is not around, so no questions. Okay, releasing motions for junior category, please pay attention. This is turncoat motions, junior category semi-finals. So, and finals. So semi-final is this first slide to the left. 2 mega movies must not be released on the same dates. Classic example, Oppenheimer, Barbie. What is happening of late? So just when you're going for the motion, you say, yes, this is bad, shouldn't happen. If you're going like against the motion, you'd be like, no, this is the best thing ever, why not? If in the finals motion, this is the finals motion, historical fiction must not be produced in popular culture or like as part of popular culture. Example of historical fiction should be Saddam Hussein, Oppenheimer, just the kind of movies that talk about a historical incident that occurred and you know. So Oppenheimer was this actual person whose life is being displayed in through like some sort of a representation from the director's perspective. And Sardar Udham, again, another narrative, which is historically it happened, but in the movie, we don't know how much of what happened is actually being represented truly. So it's, again, if you're going for the motion, you're going to say that historical fiction must not be produced in popular culture and then give reasons for it, why you think it should not happen. And if you're going against the motion, you're supposed to tell us why historical fiction should indeed be a part of popular culture, as to how it enriches the society, so on and so forth. Give us reasons. I hope this is clear. Are there any questions with reference to this? Tejas, yes. Hi, Tejas. Hello. Okay, Tejal, yes.
Sir, I had a doubt. Like, can you please send a voice message on the group regarding all this explanation on the topics, because I need to share it to my dad and he's not in this meeting and I cannot remember
Yeah, we
this
are
much.
recording this. We are recording this call also, so you can show your dad this part. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Tejas.
Yes, ma'am. I had a doubt that historical fiction could be any fiction like freedom or kingdoms or.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Anything that is historically relevant, it happened. So even if it's Queen Elizabeth's life in some movie being represented, it's still historical fiction.
Okay, ma'am.
Even if it doesn't relate to a national struggle. Okay. Cool. Trijal, is there another question? Okay, Naira, yes.
No, actually, my system is not working and the hand is not lowering down.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Naira?
Ma'am, for the second topic, ma'am, can the examples be of like science fiction also, like the launching of maybe Chandrayaan?
Well, you have to be talking. I mean, that's very far-fetched. I will advise you to not do it. Just talk about things that are immediately historical fiction. So if there is somebody who's talking about, I don't know, about the life of Kalpana Chawla or what happened to her, then that's probably a part of historical fiction. But it has to have links. It should be linked to history primarily. Science fiction is a very mixed genre. I mean, it has a lot of other things. So try to stick to exclusively historical, yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
narratives. You're welcome. Lower your hands, please. If your question is answered, just lower your hands. Okay. All questions answered. Moving on. So now this is for WSDC semi-finals, junior category, motion reviews. This house, as a pop culture enthusiast, discourages the concept of remakes in the industry, in the movie industry. So even in the music industry. So see, remakes, you understand what remakes are, right? So some movie was like, there was some movie that was released, let's say in 1980s, 90s, and then it did really well. So somebody in now in 2023 tries to make it all over again with new characters, or maybe with new characters, new songs, same plot, but just like a renewal of sorts. So remakes can be, I mean, remakes have different sorts of purposes and they are represented. I mean, the remakes are made for different kinds of reasons, and what they look like is also different. So that's not for me to tell you what it looks like. You can define what remakes are like and why directors get into doing the remakes in the first place, or why songs are remade. But the idea here is on proposition that you are a pop culture enthusiast. So this house, as a pop culture enthusiast, all the arguments you will make, you're going to make it from the perspective of a pop culture enthusiast. Again, don't ask me what a pop culture enthusiast is, because this is something that you need to define in the motion, in the debate. Tell us what it means. So I could say pop culture enthusiast means a person who just can't get enough of mainstream movies, but that's just one way of defining it. You could do better. If you're going against the motion, you're still the pop culture enthusiast. I mean, you're still defining things from his or her perspective, but you don't discourage the idea of remakes. Now you are saying we support the idea of a remake as a pop culture enthusiast. Any questions on this? All right, moving on. The finals motion is this. It has a context slide for whoever needs it. This house supports the national celebration of Natu Natu's win at the Oscars. So national celebration, you understand, all of India was proud, and then the politicians could be sharing their appreciation on their Twitter handles, those kinds of things. National celebration is when everybody's involved in celebrating something. I mean, this is also up for definition in the debate, but I'm just making it clear for you because you're junior category. So, do you support the national celebration of this song's win at the Oscars? On proposition, you will say yes, we support it. On opposition, you will say no, we don't support it. Oscar awards are, this is context, are prestigious globally. So getting an Oscar award is like a big thing for anybody. Even Indian actors presenting Oscar awards, like I think Deepika Padukone did it this time. Even that's thought of as like a big deal. So they're very very prestigious, like Grammys. So their prestigious is one thing, and they recognize global talent, sure, but it has also been criticized for excluding some cultures, giving more awards to maybe Western movies, white people, those kinds of things. And plus, Oscars is like a Western concept. So if you celebrate Natu Natu in that context, is it good or bad? That's what the debate is about. That's what the relevance of Oscars, particularly as like.
Ma'am, in the semi-finals, we'll have both foreign of the same topic, right? Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Often for the same topic, right?
What? Can you come again, please? I don't know. Your voice is slightly faint for me.
Ma'am, in the semi-finals, the topic is for and against both, na?
Yeah. You will be told which side you're supposed to go from on the spot. So you have to prepare from both the sides.
So we'll prepare for both, and both of them we have to speak.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Do we have anyone else? Yes. Yuvraj, yes.
How there are two topics in finals. So there are two topics in finals.
No, they're not. The other slide is a context slide. It only gives you a better understanding of the one motion that you have on Oscars. Okay. So the other slide is an explanation of the actual motion. Cool. Nishil, question.
And it was the same question, ma'am, why there are two topics for the junior.
Oh, all right. Okay, got it. Shakuntala, are you here? All right. Saina, yes.
Ma'am, you are saying that for the finals, there's only one topic.
For the finals, yeah, there's only going to be one topic, right? One topic per format.
Ma'am, but
one topic per format, people.
Ma'am, but there are two national celebration of Natu Natu win at the and the other also. There are two topics, na?
No. Okay, there is one finals topic for Turncoat, and there is one finals topic for WSDC. The WSDC topic on Oscars, these are not two topics. The other one is a context slide. It's like a background so that you can debate on the Oscars topic better. So long story short, your finals WSDC motion is this house supports the national celebration of Natu Natu winning Oscar. Okay. That's the only topic for WSDC finals.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Nishil, have you not lowered your hand, or is there another question?
Ma'am, there is another question.
Yes, okay.
Ma'am, so when will we get a third teammate? Ma'am, one of our teammates is not participating in the competition anymore.
Okay, Kamal sir, are you here?
Yeah, we are looking for the third partner. We will get your partner by tomorrow morning. Sure. You can start preparing your current partner. We will find third partner for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I think with this, we're by and large done with the questions as well. If there are no other questions, I'll call it a day from my side. Thank you so much. Also, good luck for the final day.